In life, when troubles surround us and everything seems uncertain, we often ask, how can we trust God when times are tough? This video is here to help you find the answer. We'll navigate these stormy waters together, discovering how to have unwavering faith, even in the toughest moments. So sit back, relax, and let's explore why we must all trust God, especially when times are tough. In the midst of life's storms, trusting God becomes our anchor. It's during the toughest moments that we must lean on Him, finding our strength and solace. But why is trusting God so vital in difficult times? We must trust because, in our frailty, we're limited. We can't control every aspect of life, but God's omnipotence knows no bounds. His love and wisdom extend beyond our understanding. When we trust God, we acknowledge His authority over our lives. We surrender our worries, fears, and uncertainties, recognizing that His plan is far greater than we can fathom. The Bible offers us words of guidance, such as Isaiah 41:10, which tells us not to fear, for God is with us and will uphold us with His righteous hand. This verse reminds us of God's presence in our trials, providing us with the strength to endure. Psalm 34:17-18 reassures us that the Lord hears the cries of the righteous and delivers them from all their troubles. When we trust God, we find comfort in these verses, understanding that our cries don't fall on deaf ears. Let's also hear the story of Jim, a subscriber who faced a profound journey through illness, teaching us the significance of trust in God. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more daily videos just like this. Jim's life took a sudden turn when he was diagnosed with a really bad illness. As he battled through pain and uncertainty, he found comfort in his unwavering trust in God. It wasn't an easy path for Jim. While sick, he felt not just physically weakened, but also emotionally drained. There were moments when he felt discouraged, when the weight of his condition seemed unbearable, and he couldn't help but be angry at the world for the unfairness of it all. However, being a follower of Christ his whole life, he just needed to focus his energy on trusting God's plan. During these dark hours, he told us he clung to the promise of Isaiah 41:10, which reads, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This became his lifeline, a refuge he turned to when the world felt like an overwhelming storm. The verse reminded him that God was present and upholding him with His righteous hand. In his own words, Jim shared, "Trusting God during my illness was the only anchor I had. Even when the road seemed unbearable, knowing that God was with me gave me the strength to persevere. I realized that my journey was a testament to His grace and love." Jim's story unveils a deeper truth about trusting God. It was not just a concept or a distant belief, but the only rock he could cling to in the turbulent sea of his illness. When uncertainty surrounded him, trust in God brought him hope, a glimmer of light in the darkest of hours. It gave him the courage to maintain a positive outlook, even when his circumstances seemed dire. He found that trusting God wasn't just a passive act, it was an active force that fueled his perseverance. It was a lifeline that he could grasp, providing him with the strength to endure the unendurable. In his weakest moments, when fear threatened to engulf him, he discovered that God's strength was made perfect. Jim's journey illustrates that trusting God is not just a choice, it's a source of unwavering strength and a profound connection to His grace and love. To fully grasp the true power and message of trusting in God, especially in times of adversity, let's dive into an amazing story from the Bible, specifically the book of Daniel, chapter 3, 1-30. To recap, this was during the time of the Babylonian Empire. King Nebuchadnezzar erected a massive golden statue. He commanded that when the sound of various musical instruments played, everyone from every nation should bow down and worship the statue. Refusal to do so would result in being cast into a blazing, fiery furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 Jewish men in Nebuchadnezzar's court, faced a daunting choice. They could obey the king's command and compromise their faith, or they could remain steadfast in their devotion to the one true God, even if it meant facing certain death. Their choice was clear, and they chose not to worship the idol. Their unwavering trust in God's protection is what sets this story apart. They believed that God was the only one worthy of their worship, and they were willing to face the consequences of their obedience to him. They displayed incredible courage, knowing that their decision could lead to their execution in the fiery furnace. When King Nebuchadnezzar learned of their defiance, he was furious. He confronted the three young men, giving them one last chance to bow down to the statue. Their response is a testament to their unwavering faith. They said, "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." Their trust was not contingent on a guarantee of deliverance. They understood that God's plan was beyond their comprehension, but they were willing to follow him no matter the outcome. This kind of trust, the trust that transcends circumstances, is a powerful example of faith that endures through adversity. As a result of their refusal, they were indeed thrown into the fiery furnace, which was heated 7 times hotter than usual. But something remarkable happened. King Nebuchadnezzar, peering into the furnace, saw not 3, but 4 figures walking around inside. The fire had not harmed them, and the 4th figure was described as like a son of the gods. This was a miraculous deliverance brought about by God himself. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego emerged from the furnace unharmed. Their story serves as a powerful reminder of the transformative power of trust and courage in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. It teaches us that even in the midst of life's fiercest trials, God's protection and deliverance can be our reality when we place our trust in him. Their unwavering trust in God's protection is what sets this story apart. They believed that God was the only one worthy of their worship, and they were willing to face the consequences of their obedience to him. They displayed incredible courage, knowing that their decision could lead to their execution in the fiery furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's story serves as a profound illustration of trust and courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Their steadfastness in remaining true to their faith, even in the face of certain death, speaks to the incredible power of trust in God during adversity. Just as they found strength through trust in the midst of the fiery furnace, we too can find courage to face our challenges by placing our trust in God. This story from the Bible holds timeless lessons that we can apply to our day-to-day challenges. In the midst of our own trials, we can draw strength from the examples of those who trusted God when their situations appeared insurmountable. We see that God's faithfulness endured through centuries, and it endures for us today. Now we know, saying is easier than doing, but what if we told you there were practical steps to trust God in tough times? Yes, it's true, and we'll break them down here now. But real quick, if you have not yet subscribed, please make sure to do so now and hit that like button. You see, trusting God when life gets tough isn't just a wish, it's a journey. Here are some simple steps to help you strengthen your trust in God when things get rough. 1. Prayer. Talking to God is like a comforting chat with a dear friend. Share your feelings, hopes, and fears with him. It's not just about asking for help, it's about finding peace in his presence. 2. Meditation. Spend time reflecting on God's words like those found in the Bible. It's like finding an oasis of calm in the middle of a storm. Let his wisdom guide you. 3. Lean on your Christian community. Don't go through tough times alone. Your church or online group can provide support, encouragement, and a sense of belonging. Sharing your journey with others who share your faith can make the road easier. 4. Keep the faith, even when you doubt. It's okay to feel doubt and fear sometimes. We all do. When those feelings show up, remember the promises of God and the stories of trust in the Bible. Trust isn't about never feeling doubt or fear. It's about having the courage to move forward despite them. A verse that says it all is, and something we all should remember, is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and don't rely only on your understanding. In everything you do, acknowledge him, and he'll show you the right path. These words remind us that trust means letting go of our need to understand everything and allowing God to lead us. When we do, our path becomes clearer, even in tough times. In this journey of life, we will have setbacks. Fear and doubt will slowly take over. But it's essential to recognize that doubt and fear often rear their heads during tough times. These emotions are normal, but it's how we navigate them that makes the difference. Here are some strategies for managing doubt and fear through faith and trust in God. 1. Acknowledge your emotions. Feeling doubt and fear is okay. By acknowledging these emotions, you give yourself permission to address them honestly. 2. Seek encouragement from Scripture. The Bible is full of verses that can offer comfort and courage. For instance, Psalm 56:3 reassures us, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you." Keeping such verses close can serve as a source of strength when doubt and fear creep in. 3. Trust God's promises. Remind yourself of God's promises, like His unchanging love, His guidance, and His protection. Trust that He is with you, even when doubt and fear try to convince you otherwise. Now, I want to share another story from Michael, a subscriber who triumphed over doubt and fear. Michael found himself in a season of doubt and fear when he faced a challenging career transition. As he ventured into a new field, he was plagued by self-doubt and anxiety. The uncertainties of the journey ahead weighed heavily on his shoulders. But Michael decided to confront his doubts and fears head-on. Instead of letting them paralyze him, he turned to his faith. He began to pray for guidance and courage, seeking God's support during his times of uncertainty. Over time, he discovered that his faith and trust in God provided him with a new perspective. He remembered the story of David and Goliath, finding inspiration in David's unwavering faith when facing a seemingly insurmountable foe. As Michael continued to place his trust in God, he started to see opportunities where he once saw obstacles. His doubts began to subside, replaced by a growing sense of confidence. He realized that God's presence and guidance were stronger than any fear he might face. Michael's journey is a testimony to the power of faith and trust in overcoming doubt and fear. It reminds us that, like him, we can find strength and courage in our faith, even in the most challenging of circumstances. Now let's talk about finding hope and purpose amidst adversity. In the midst of tough times, placing our trust in God is like finding a guiding light. It illuminates the path to hope and uncovers a deeper sense of purpose, even in the face of adversity. When we trust God during life's storms, a unique kind of hope emerges. It's the hope that reassures us of brighter days ahead, a conviction that our struggles hold meaning, and a recognition of our role in our own story. Across history, countless individuals have journeyed through hardship and emerged from it as stronger, wiser beings. Their experiences reflect the transformative power of trust in God, akin to the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly. Even in the face of daunting challenges, trust empowers us to seek meaning. It's akin to discovering stars that guide us through the darkest of nights. Our struggles become more than mere obstacles. They become pathways to growth and understanding. In these moments, we find peace in the words of Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. This verse reminds us that even when life is tough, God is at work behind the scenes, shaping something beautiful for those who trust in him. In the grand story of life, our challenges aren't roadblocks. They are stepping stones to hope and purpose. Now let's talk about the role of surrender in trusting God. Surrender is like a bridge to trust during tough times. It's about letting go and trusting in God's plan, even when we can't see the way forward. Why is surrender important? Surrender is vital because it's an act of recognizing that we don't have all the answers. It's a step of humility, acknowledging that God's wisdom is greater than our own. Let's turn to the Bible for guidance. In Romans 12:1-2, we're encouraged to offer ourselves as living sacrifices, which is our true worship. This means not following the patterns of the world, but being transformed by the renewing of our minds to understand God's will. When life feels heavy, remember the words of Matthew 11:28-30. Jesus invites us to find rest in him, for his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Surrendering our worries to him is a way to trust. Surrender is the path to trusting God's plan fully, especially when life's road seems unclear. Lastly, let's explore the incredible power of faith and trust in God when it comes to experiencing miracles and divine intervention, especially in the most challenging moments of our lives. Our faith in God can move mountains and invite divine miracles into our lives. It's the belief that even when things seem impossible, God can make the impossible happen. Now let's turn to some inspiring stories of individuals who witnessed God's miraculous intervention in their lives. These stories are a testament to the incredible power of trust and faith. In the Bible, we find verses that emphasize the idea of God's divine intervention. Mark 11:24 reminds us that when we pray, we should believe that we have received it and it will be ours. This speaks to the power of faith in bringing about God's miraculous work in our lives. Likewise, Luke 18:27 tells us that what is impossible with man is possible with God. It's a profound reminder that when we trust God, the door to His divine interventions opens, even in the face of life's toughest challenges. So, as we journey through life, may our trust in God bring forth miracles and divine interventions that light our path, even in the darkest of moments. It's essential to emphasize the importance of trusting God during tough times. When we trust in Him, we find strength, hope, and purpose even in the face of adversity. It's like finding a guiding light in the darkness, a source of unwavering support. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this. See you in the next one.